Hello. Now, the main constituent of the human body is water. So it's not surprising that maintaining appropriate hydration of our bodies is at the heart of a healthy lifestyle. Hydration can affect your health, wellness and performance. And I'm joined in the studio today by Professor Ron Maughan and Professor Monty Mythen. So welcome along, gentlemen. Great to have you here today. It is getting quite hot, which is fantastic. So hydration becomes more and more important, doesn't it? What are the signs, firstly, of dehydration? What should we be looking out for, particularly as parents when we're looking at our children?
If they're dehydrated, they're likely to tell you they're thirsty. That's the first sign, and it works pretty well. The human body's evolved over years and it works pretty well. But they also might be just a little bit lethargic, maybe a little bit headachy, maybe a little bit dull, complaining a little bit, irritable. And maybe if you're aware of what your child does, they maybe don't go to the bathroom quite so often. Their body's not got enough water to keep the kidneys working as they usually do.
I guess by the point they're getting headaches and they're a bit miserable, they're probably quite badly dehydrated, are they?
Yes, and particularly if they're having a lot of activity, mixed in with that might be the fact that they need a few calories as well.
Okay.
So, you know, even though there's been a trend to move away from more sugary drinks, if there's hot weather, if there's activity involved, if there's sweating involved, then something that has a little bit of sugar and a little bit of water is not a bad way of starting to address whether you'll pick them up a bit, you know, with a
Well,
I
think that's really good to know. As a mum of two, I think, you know, we're always feeling bad that we're not drinking enough water ourselves and not giving enough water to our children. So essentially what you're saying, if they fancy a glass of milk or a juice or a squash, that's just as good in some ways. Is that correct?
It's a good start. To see if you can, you know, what's going to pick them up.
Yes.
And you know, it doesn't have to be a drink either. A few strawberries, an orange, an apple, they're all high in water.
Okay, that's good. So on these sports days that we'll have coming up, where they do run like lunatics and they're so thirsty, it's just about keeping the water and the strawberries there and listening to them when they're thirsty.
Indeed. We don't want to encourage them to drink too much. We want to encourage them just to drink enough.
Can you hydrate too much? Can you go the other way? Is that possible?
Yes, it is possible, and we do occasionally, very seldom in children, but occasionally in adults who drink too much because they've been told drinking lots is good for you. You run into some problems. If you drink too much, you dilute the salts in the blood. That has the effect of making the brain swell. When the brain swells, you run into some problems. And in the worst situations, you can die.
That's quite terrifying, isn't it? Absolutely. So, for instance, people that are running marathons or taking on huge sporting things have to be really aware of really how much they need and not going overboard.
Be a little bit wary of the sort of formulaic solution. Somebody has told me that I need to drink this volume every hour of clear, plain water, no matter what.
Okay.
Just do a bit more listening to one's body. Now, that's harder in a marathon situation, but building up to doing a marathon, you can prepare for that and then adjust according to the climactic condition.
Okay.
But the obsessional, you know, this quantity per time period is not a good approach.
Now that has become a trend. You see that in some offices actually, people with big bottles, and it's like they've got to drink it by the end of the day. So you're saying that maybe that's not entirely necessary, especially if we're getting so much hydration through the food that we're eating and good nutrition as well.
Usually it's not, especially if you're in an air-conditioned office. You're probably not sweating an awful lot. You're probably not losing a lot of water. In that situation, you don't need to drink too much. It probably doesn't do a lot of harm, except you spend more time going to the bathroom.
Yes, but would you say that going back to children, if they're not hydrated properly, would that maybe affect their concentration in school as well?
There have been several studies in children showing that if you restrict water intake, the behaviour deteriorates, their ability to do simple memory tasks, simple learning tasks also deteriorates. So it's not a good idea. I know some schools say we don't want the children drinking too much because when they do need to go to the bathroom, it disrupts the class.
Yes.
But that's far better than having an unruly class of children who are not learning.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we've run out of time now, but if you'd like to find out more about hydration, then please go to www.europeanhydrationinstitute.org. And my huge thanks to Ron Maughan and Professor Mythen for joining us. And thank you so much for watching.